The first time I saw a trailer for Mindseye, the first thing that came to my mind is, wow, this looks a lot like a GTA game. And as we know, with GTA 6 coming out, next year at this point, there is a big gap sitting there for a GTA-like game. And I think when everyone saw the Mindseye trailers and promotions and things like that, they thought, wow, this might be it. This might be the thing that carries me over into the launch of GTA 6. And when you do your research and you find out that some of the people that worked on the Mindseye, they also worked at Rockstar Games. So the hype built for this game in a way where this was going to be a placeholder until GTA 6 came out. And lo and behold, as GTA 6 gets delayed, there is more and more of a want and need for a game exactly like this. An open world RPG with a great story that you can drive around in a variety of different cars. And that's what Mindseye was thought to be by many, many people. Well, let me tell you, it ain't that. It ain't that whatsoever. And in fact, it is quite far from that. And I might go as far as to say this is the worst game that I have played in quite a long time. I hate to disappoint, but this is my review of Mindseye. Mindseye is not a completely horrible game. There's just a lot that's a problem with it. In fact, there's a couple of things that are actually pretty good in this game, but they're few and far between, and they're even more so overshadowed by probably what you've seen the most out of this game, and that is the massive amount of bugs, glitches, and problems that the game actually has. From a technical standpoint, this game is a mess, and for the launch of a game, it becomes a very, very big problem, to the point where one of the lead developers of the game said that they were heartbroken about the community response to the game, but it's pretty clear to see why that community response was actually there. And if you look at a website like Metacritic, it's sitting around like a 41% on Metacritic, and as you watch here, you can see the wide variety of bugs that are in this actual game. But I have to say one thing and one thing alone. I don't think the bugs are the biggest problem with this game whatsoever, not even close, in fact. And yes, these bugs take you out of the game, but more than anything, I actually found these bugs kind of funny, and if anything, added to my experience, because the truth of the matter is that this game is so lackluster when it comes to actual content and what is in the game, that the bugs become a feature as almost a selling point for this game as opposed to a deterrent for me. I found myself wanting to keep playing this game because I wanted to see what else was going to be broken. And lo and behold, as everyone has seen from the gameplay and clips that we're specifically looking at here, which is, by the way, from a video which I will link to down in the description, it's a mess. It's a complete mess. But again, that is not the biggest problem. And as I mentioned, there are some redeeming qualities of this game. The main thing is the cutscene and story of the game. To set things up, essentially you are an ex-military operative with a basically direct neural interface in your head that was put in by a mysterious company, and when you're in the military, it goes haywire and ends up putting a virus into your brain that ends up going into all of the robots throughout the game, throughout this fictional city called Red Rock, which very, very clearly is a copy-paste of Las Vegas. So this story is actually pretty decent. Now, I don't think it ends in the best possible way, nor do I think it's the perfect story. There's really no twists and turns. It's incredibly straightforward all the way through. But the story and the cutscenes are very, very well put together if you can avoid some of the bugs that do happen in the cutscenes. So that is the one big and redeeming quality of the game. Decent story, decent looking cutscenes. And that's the one thing that everyone I've seen talk about this game who says anything positive about it actually is. The game looks good and it looks pretty, but when it comes to actually playing the game, it sucks. The first time I ever got into combat in this game, it was in a kind of flashback, a military flashback, which, by the way, you just have no idea what's going on in this military flashback. It just kind of throws you in there and it says rescue the hostages. The AI in this sucks. They're just kind of standing there. The bullets float in the air for a second before they move to hit you. You can see them floating there. And on top of that, when you kill someone, they just kind of drop dead on the ground. It's one of the most ridiculous AIs I've ever seen, and I was quite honestly just completely shocked when I played it. But yeah, oh my god.
gotta be organized, even though it's chaos.
Look at the bullets go through the air. Oh my. Oh, I can't blow up the barrels? Okay, never mind. It's not just the bad gameplay, it's what's missing from this game. As I mentioned, the Red Rock area is beautiful. It looks really good, even though some of the spawn-ins and the drop-in of, or pop-in of some of the distant materials and distant buildings looked ridiculous at times. It looks pretty, but there is nothing to this open world. You can't go in any of the buildings. You can't get in any other cars until later in the game. And even with that, you can only get into cars that are parked on the side of the road or in parking lots. And that's kind of unlocked when there's like 3 hours left in the entire game. This game runs for about 8 to 9 hours, I would say. But again, there's absolutely no side content. You can't be driving through an area, see a bunch of robots shooting up a car, which does actually happen, and you pull over and you stop them. It doesn't lead to a side mission, and in fact it doesn't even give you any XP, bonus materials, money, currency, because there's no shops in the game. There's nothing you can buy. You can't buy vehicles. You can't go into a store or anything like that. Why? Because they simply do not exist, and pulling over to stop these robots from shooting up a car doesn't give you any XP whatsoever. Not to mention, there is no map. There is no world map whatsoever. Like zero. It just doesn't exist. It's not there. There's a mini map up in the top corner, but you can't click on that mini map. You can't go into it. You can't see what the world actually looks like. It is just simply not there whatsoever. So there's no open world. There's no map. The world feels completely barren because of the lack of side missions and side content. There is nothing to progress. Like, you can't level up. You can't get XP. As you play your way through the game, you will unlock better weapons and some extra abilities for your kind of like robot flying companion, but you can't level any of these things up. They just kind of, you're picked up off the ground or given to you through a mission. It just all in all feels as though there is so much missing from the game, to an absolutely huge extent, to where it feels like, oh, I completed that mission. Where's my XP? Oh, I pulled over because I saw a bunch of robots shooting up this abandoned vehicle or an abandoned gas station, but there's no people or NPCs inside the gas station. There was no XP given. I don't unlock or find any other pieces, items, or another vehicle or anything. There's just nothing there. It's a complete barren wasteland, which actually fits the theme of this desert area very, very well. So essentially what this ends up being is a 8 to 9 hour linear campaign on a giant world where half of your missions, you are going to either be driving or flying to another area. You get in a set of gunfights, the mission ends, plays a cutscene, you drive somewhere else, and every time you drive somewhere, you're speaking to someone on a phone. That is essentially the entirety of this game. That is all there is to it. That is all there is there. And again, that redeeming quality is a decent story and some good cutscenes. That is essentially all you're going to be getting out of this game. So when this came out and people started to refund this game like crazy, I believe Sony started to accept refunds even if you've played through the entire campaign, which is of course incredibly bad for this franchise. And this was published by IOI Interactive, the people that make Hitman, the people that are making the new James Bond game, but it wasn't created by them. It was created by a different studio and published by IOI. So some people are getting a little bit confused by that, and I was questioning it too. I'm like, is this what we can expect out of the James Bond game? But not created by the same people. Now, here's the thing, is there are going to be updates for this game coming. These updates are what people actually want out of the game. And not until winter of this year are we going to be getting free roam updates. And what I think that actually means is side missions. So the game launched without progression, without side missions. Apparently multiplayer is coming in fall, but here's the thing, is with those promises, I truly do not believe that they're ever going to come, because I think this game is going to get defunded incredibly quickly. So these promises of this game, essentially what they were trying to do is make this into a live service single player game. But I will tell you right now, there is not enough in this game to actually do that. There just isn't. There's not enough there. So what this ends up being is going to be a complete flop of a game. If you're planning on waiting until the DLC comes out, or until extra missions are added, or a new map pack, I don't even know what they're calling it at this point. I don't see it happening anymore because it's just not, it's not there. This is a huge mistake. And I think the only reason why it ended up getting launched is because, again, the GTA 6 got delayed and that developers saw an opportunity to sell a whole bunch of copies as people waited for GTA 6. It's unfortunate. It's the way that it is. And yeah, I really can't recommend this game to you. I give it maybe a 3.5 out of 10. The gameplay is completely lackluster. The cutscenes are decent. It looks pretty. And that's about all you're going to be getting out of this game. So yeah, don't recommend this one. And essentially it's a complete dumpster fire.